Hi, I'm Bill Reinstein, President and CEO of MedData Group, and today I'd like to share with you 10 best practices for more effective physician email marketing. As you're probably well aware, marketing to physicians is no easy task. Not only are they hard to reach, but they have limited attention spans for content that doesn't immediately resonate with them. Yet with more and more physicians engaging with vendor content via digital channels, there has never been a better time to perfect email marketing techniques for optimum results. MedData Group deploys over 20 million email messages for dozens of demand generation campaigns on behalf of our clients each quarter. Our client campaigns span the medical technology, medical device, medical education, and pharmaceutical sectors. The key to our success in email marketing comes down to understanding the specific behaviors of the target audience we're mailing, creating and testing relevant and compelling messages that drive engagement, and knowing and implementing the right technologies to maximize results. By drawing on insights gleaned from these experiences, I'd like to share with you our thoughts on the top 10 best practices for successfully marketing to physicians via email. Tip 1. Personalize the message to your audience. Physicians respond more frequently to content offers that are personalized or tailored to their individual specialty. And as a result, it's important to be mindful of the physician's specialty in developing email marketing offers. If your product or service is relevant to many specialties, such as an EHR platform or practice management solution, it can be effective to tailor your communications by segment to tie the message to each individual specialty you're looking to engage. Some of the valuable elements to customize in your campaign include statistics, case studies, products or product features. If nothing else, modify the body of the email when possible to refer to the physician's specialty, to let your recipient know you're mindful of how your solution fits their specialty area. More sophisticated email service providers and customer relationship management platforms will allow you to do some of this customization dynamically without having to create multiple versions of each mailing. Otherwise, your database marketing partner can work with you to accomplish this objective. Tip 2. Make your email content concise and factual. Physicians respond best to concise, factual communications. Citing reputable third-party data or industry reports helps build interest and trust, driving recipients to register and download your content. Physician time is limited, so being able to quickly and clearly articulate the value that the physicians will receive from reading your content will help optimize your conversion rates, as will minimizing the use of marketing jargon. Tip 3. Optimize your subject lines. Writing subject lines is both art and science, so it's important to write a subject line that is compelling and then test and adjust along the way. In MedData Group's mailings, we find that using challenge phrases work very well with physicians. For example, a subject line could read, EHR, are you part of the 4% that have had a successful implementation? Touching upon areas of concern shows that you understand their challenges and implies that you have a solution to propose. Character length is also important, and knowing the percentage of your audience on a mobile device will further guide your optimal subject line length. A good rule of thumb is to keep your subject lines at a 50 to 70 character maximum. Knowing that the number of characters the recipient will actually see in their mobile or desktop environment is highly variable, try to keep the main topical focus far forward in the subject. And lastly, you should A/B test your subject lines by creating 2 of the exact same email, changing only the subject line, and analyzing your open rates to see if one subject resonates better with your audience. Tip 4. Keep mobile top of mind. We all know that mobile technology is important. In a recent physician survey, we found 93% of physicians use their mobile device for professional purposes. Developing email content with mobile in mind is especially important with physicians when you're reaching them through their personal email addresses. In our last quarter's data, over 65% of our physicians viewed our client emails on a mobile device. This information should help guide you on a range of decisions, such as graphic density and layout, the positioning of the call to action, subject line length, and the length of the email itself. It's also critical to ensure your email platform supports responsive design, allowing you to present different creative layouts for mobile versus desktop users. The extra time and effort spent to optimize content for each platform will produce worthwhile results in today's mobile-first reality. Tip 5. Plan for a long-tail response. When analyzing direct-to-physician email marketing data, we've always been amazed at how long the time period is after the initial email drop that recipients are still opening and responding to a campaign. In some cases, we've seen meaningful open and click-through rates weeks after the initial email. Keep this in mind as it relates to the availability of the content asset and to the frequency of mail drops to avoid overmailing. Tip 6. Understand mail drop times. Just as I talked about tailoring messaging based on specialty, drop times can be highly unique based on the physician's specialty. From our mailing to physicians across all specialty areas, MedData Group has amassed a wealth of information that we use to optimize mail drops for our client mailings. Because different specialty areas exhibit different behaviors and patterns in how and when they respond to emails, segmenting your mailings by specialty and then testing drop times allows you to learn the segment's unique characteristics. Along the way, you may discover some surprising optimum drop times. In a best-case scenario, your email service provider or customer relationship management tool will allow for predictive mailing, where it learns and adapts to each recipient based on prior behaviors. However, even without this functionality, there's a tremendous range of customization you can deploy to achieve improved results. Tip 7. Nurture your leads. Once you or your marketing partners have generated the initial lead, continual and sensible nurture communications are critical to ensure meaningful brand awareness. Given the high probability that a physician will initially open email on a mobile device, it's a best practice to follow up with a thank you email within a few hours with an access link to the original content, so the recipient can download it to their computer or any other device. It's also important to plan for multiple touches with different content offers over time. Whether you have this content in-house or need to source it externally, having different types of content to promote to your audience will improve your engagement. In the nurture campaigns MedData Group manages for our clients, we see open rates between 40 to 60% and click-through rates of 10 to 25% for this type of follow-on outreach. Tip 8. Improve deliverability by keeping it simple. With spam and content type filtering algorithms constantly changing and being ever more restrictive and challenging for mailers, it's important to keep the following in mind to optimize deliverability of your message. Use only basic HTML. Never use any CSS code, which is a red flag for almost every spam filter. Avoid JavaScript, submission forms, layers, or rich media. Minimize graphics and keep graphic to text ratio under 25%. Be extremely careful of spam stop words, which for medical email can include terms or phrases that are quite legitimate, but will still be red flags for spam filters. Tip 9. Highlight credentials and peer opinions. The credentials and background of the content author or presenters are important to highlight when marketing content to a physician audience. When the author credentials and affiliations are clear and concise, there can be a significant increase in click-through rates and conversions. When available, a photograph with relative honorifics and professional affiliations also helps to increase results. Tip 10. Streamline your registration. In any content marketing program, to physicians or otherwise, the design, layout, and length of the registration form is a critical factor in determining conversions. With physicians in particular, make sure your registration form only asks what is absolutely necessary. Use technology solutions such as server-side lookup based on a unique identifier to append relevant data without adding more work for the recipient. Also, based on your own or other third-party databases, decide what additional information you can collect post-registration rather than requiring it at the point of download. It's also important to consider the questions that can be made optional. MedData Group has found very high response rates for optional qualifying questions, but only when they make sense in the context of the content and the landing page. I hope you found these 10 tips on physician email marketing to be useful to your demand generation programs. If you have any questions on anything mentioned during this video, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.